The Arctic, once a desolate and remote region, has emerged as a new geopolitical battleground. Climate change, with its melting ice caps and opening sea lanes, has unveiled the region's strategic and economic potential, attracting the attention of global powers. At the heart of this new Arctic game lies Greenland, the world's largest island, with its vast reserves of critical minerals and its strategic location. In recent years, Greenland has found itself caught between the interests of the United States, a long-standing ally, and China, an ambitious newcomer eager to establish its Arctic presence. Donald Trump Jr.'s recent visit to Greenland, following in his father's footsteps, has reignited discussions about the island's future. The younger Trump's visit, laden with promises of investment and collaboration, highlights the Trump family's continued interest in acquiring Greenland, a prospect that has raised eyebrows and sparked controversy. This renewed interest comes at a time when Greenland's political landscape is shifting, with the island's new leadership expressing a growing openness to engagement with China. This evolving dynamic has set the stage for a geopolitical tug-of-war, with the United States and China vying for influence in this strategically crucial region. Greenland, with its untapped resources and its growing autonomy, finds itself at the epicenter of this competition, forced to navigate the complex interests of global powers while charting its own course in an increasingly uncertain world. The stakes are high, not just for Greenland and its people, but for the future of the Arctic and the balance of power in the region. Beneath Greenland's icy surface lies a treasure trove of critical minerals that are essential for the technologies of the 21st century. Vast reserves of rare earth elements, lithium, graphite, copper and nickel, are scattered across this Arctic expanse, making Greenland a potential powerhouse in the global race for resources. These minerals are crucial components in everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to wind turbines and military equipment. As the world transitions towards a greener and more technologically advanced future, the demand for these minerals is skyrocketing. Greenland, with its vast and largely untapped reserves, has the potential to become a major supplier of these essential resources, attracting the attention of countries and corporations alike. The island's mineral wealth is not just an economic boon, it is also a strategic asset with the potential to reshape global supply chains and influence the balance of power. The melting ice caps, a consequence of climate change, have made Greenland's mineral wealth more accessible, further fueling interest in the region. However, this increased accessibility comes at a cost. Mining activities can have significant environmental impacts, particularly in a fragile ecosystem like the Arctic. Balancing economic development with environmental protection is a delicate challenge that Greenland must carefully navigate as it weighs its options and decides how best to utilize its vast mineral resources. The world is watching closely as Greenland decides how to manage its newfound wealth and the implications for the global race for critical minerals. The island's choices will have far-reaching consequences, shaping not only its own economic future but also the geopolitical landscape of the Arctic and beyond. Greenland, traditionally closely aligned with Denmark and the West, has recently shown signs of a political shift, signaling a growing openness towards China. This shift in Greenland's foreign policy can be attributed to several factors, including a desire for greater autonomy, frustration with Danish policies, and the allure of Chinese investment and economic opportunities. The March 2025 elections in Greenland brought to power a new government led by Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen, who campaigned on a platform of greater independence from Denmark and a more assertive foreign policy. Nielsen's government has shown a willingness to engage with China on multiple fronts, including trade, infrastructure development, and cultural exchanges. Vivian Motzfeldt, Greenland's foreign minister, has played a key role in fostering closer ties with China. Motzfeldt has visited Beijing on several occasions, meeting with high-ranking Chinese officials and expressing Greenland's interest in deepening cooperation. She has also overseen the opening of a Greenland representative office in Beijing, a move seen as a significant step towards strengthening bilateral relations. This warming relationship between Greenland and China has raised concerns in Washington and Copenhagen. The United States in particular views China's growing influence in the Arctic with suspicion, seeing it as a potential challenge to its own strategic interests in the region. Denmark, while acknowledging Greenland's right to pursue its own foreign policy, has also expressed reservations about the island's growing ties with China. Greenland's tilt towards China is a clear indication of the island's evolving foreign policy and its desire for a more independent role on the world stage. As Greenland seeks to leverage its strategic location and resource wealth to its advantage, it is likely to continue to play a delicate balancing act, navigating the interests of global powers while charting its own course in an increasingly multipolar world. China, despite its geographical distance from the Arctic, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and has been actively expanding its presence in the region. Driven by a quest for resources, new shipping routes and scientific research opportunities, China sees the Arctic as a region of strategic importance and a potential arena for great power competition. China's Arctic strategy is multifaceted, encompassing economic, scientific, and diplomatic initiatives. Economically, China is keen to secure access to the Arctic's vast reserves of natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals, which are crucial for its continued economic growth. The melting Arctic ice caps have opened up new shipping routes, such as the Northern Sea Route, which could significantly reduce shipping times and costs for Chinese goods traveling to Europe and North America. China sees these new maritime routes as potential polar silk roads that could become key arteries in its global trade network. Scientifically, China has been increasing its research activities in the Arctic, establishing research stations, deploying icebreakers, and conducting studies on climate change, marine ecosystems, and polar science. China's growing scientific presence in the Arctic is seen as a way to enhance its understanding of the region and to bolster its claims to a legitimate role in Arctic affairs. Diplomatically, China has been actively engaging with Arctic states, including Russia, Canada, and the Nordic countries, seeking to build partnerships and strengthen its influence in the region. China has also been actively involved in Arctic governance forums, such as the Arctic Council, where it has sought to shape the rules and norms governing the region. China's growing presence in the Arctic has not gone unnoticed by other Arctic powers, particularly the United States, which views China's ambitions with suspicion and concern. The U.S. sees China's Arctic activities as a potential challenge to its own interests in the region, particularly its military presence and its influence over shipping lanes. The Arctic is likely to become an increasingly important arena for competition and cooperation between China and the United States, as both powers seek to secure their interests and shape the future of this strategically important region. In the vast, icy expanse of the Arctic, life moves at a different pace. Here, survival is a delicate dance, a game of strategy and resilience. Every creature, from the smallest plankton to the mighty polar bear, plays a role in this intricate ecosystem, but, the rules of the game are changing. Climate change is reshaping the Arctic landscape, and with it, the lives of those who call it home. The stakes have never been higher, and well, every move counts. In this frozen chessboard, who will emerge as the victor and who will become just another pawn in the Arctic game? The Arctic, a region once dismissed as a frozen wasteland, is now a strategic chessboard. Nations are vying for control, each move calculated, each action scrutinized. As the ice melts, new opportunities emerge, and with them, new conflicts. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. Denmark, with its sovereignty over Greenland, finds itself in a delicate position. On one hand, it must navigate its relationship with the United States. On the other, it must consider the interests of its European allies. Balancing these dynamics is no easy task. Denmark's strategy will be crucial in shaping the future of the Arctic. The Arctic is becoming a focal point for geopolitical tensions reminiscent of the Cold War era. Military buildups, strategic alliances, and territorial claims are all part of the new Arctic equation. This frozen frontier is now a hotbed of activity, and the world is witnessing a new kind of Cold War, one that is playing out on ice. The future of the Arctic is uncertain. Climate change, geopolitical interests, and indigenous rights all intersect in this fragile region. What happens here will have global implications. As nations chart their courses, the world must consider the balance between development and preservation. The Arctic's fate hangs in the balance, and its future is yet to be written.